सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च कोऽपि वादः तयोर्द्वयोर्मूलमजानतां स्यात्। विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च मूलवस्तु सञ्जानतां नैव विधिर्न यत्नः। यदीशितुर्वीक्षणमीशितारम् अवीक्ष्य तन्मानसिके क्षणं स्यात्। न द्रष्टुरन्यः परमो हि तस्य वीक्षा स्वमूले प्रविलीय निष्ठा। आत्मानमीक्षेत परं प्रपश्येत् इत्यागमोक्तेः सुलभो न भावः। नात्मैव दृश्यो यदि काकथेशे स्वयं तदन्नीभवनन्तदीक्षा। धिये प्रकाशं परमो वितीर्य स्वयं धियोऽन्तः प्रविभाति गुप्तः। धियं परावृत्य धियोऽन्तरेऽत्र संयोजनान्नेश्वरदृष्टिरन्या। न वक्ति देहोऽहमिति प्रसुप्तौ न कोऽपि नाभूवमिति प्रवक्ति। यत्रोदिते सर्वमुदेति तस्य धियाहमश्रोधय जन्मदेशम्। देहो न जानाति सतो न जन्म देहप्रमाणोऽन्य उदेति मध्ये। अहङ्कृतिग्रन्थिविबन्धसूक्ष्म शरीरचेतो भवजीवनाम। रूपोद्भवो रूपततिप्रतिष्ठः रूपाशनो धूतगृहीतरूपः। स्वयं विरूपः स्वविचारकाले ध्यात्वाहङ्कारपिशाच एषः। भावेऽहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति लयेऽहमो नैव विभाति किञ्चित्। तस्मादहं रूपमिदं समस्तं तन्मार्गणं सर्वजयाय मार्गः। सत्यास्थितिर्नाहमुदेति यत्र तच्चोदयस्थानगवेषणेन विना न नश्येद्यदि तन्न नश्येत्। स्वात्मैक्यरूपा कथमस्तु निष्ठा। कूपे यथा गाढजले तथान्तः निमज्य बुद्ध्या शितया नितान्तम्। प्राणं च वाचं च नियम्य चिन्वन् विन्दे निजाहङ्कृतिमूलरूपम्। कूपे यथा गाढजले तथान्तः निमज्य बुद्ध्या शितया नितान्तम्। प्राणं च वाचं च नियम्य चिन्वन् विन्दे निजाहङ्कृतिमूलरूपम्। कूपे यथा गाढजले कूपे. Just as with the well which has deep water, a well that has deep water. Gadha jale kupe yatha, just as in the same manner, tatha antarnimajya antah. So in the same way, the heart, the internal psyche, the antahkarana is like a deep well. This is what the thing is. And what is the well? What does the well have? The well has water. And so what does the antahkarana have? Watery emotions, underconfidence, questioning, self-questioning, fear. All these things are there. So this is the problem. And but and there may be all kinds of distractions also in the antahkarana. Raga, dvesha are there. It's a well of disappointment. It's a well of disenchantment, hopelessness, so many things. So this is a very apt metaphor. So in the well, let's say a woman went to, we talked about this a bit, introducing this verse. She went to look and see how deep is the well, where should I put the bucket, lower the bucket. And then her head ornament, very expensive, studded with precious stones made of gold, falls off, falls down inside the deep well. Then what? Then a professional diver has to come. And what does the diver do? First thing, ties a rope around the middle, around the waist, ties a rope, and then closes the nostrils. This is an interesting kind of pranayama. Okay, closes the nostrils and then dives deep and first finds out where is this, where did you lose it? This side, that side, in the middle? I don't know where it would have gone after it went down, but I was standing right here. She shows. So he makes some anumana, he makes some kind of inference, and then he dives. And he dives with that understanding. It must be right there. And then before diving, of course, he protects himself by tethering himself to the handle of the well or something strong that can hold his weight. Then he dives. And as he's diving, he fills up his air with lungs because once he's there, he has very little time. And as he's about to touch the water, he fills up the air with lungs. And then what? Goes inside, and there's no oxygen tank, nothing. And but he doesn't need it even. Comes out, goes in, comes out very quickly. Why? Because he is equipped with a very clear buddhi. What is a clear buddhi? A clear buddhi is that which doesn't waste time. Look here, look there, second guess itself, and he knows what he is after. He's not going fishing, okay? He's only going fishing for the chuda mani, the head ornament. He's not trying to catch fish. Oh, what kind of fish are in this well? Oh, look, there's a frog. Is it a bullfrog? Or what kind of frog is it? He's not wasting his time thinking about all this. And, oh, is this water drinkable or is it not? He's not thinking about all that. He's just straight away focused, single-minded focus, and that is what is called ekagra buddhi, ekagrata, single-minded focus. And these yogic practices, like what is that called? The candle gazing one, prataka. All this is for that. So at least if you are able to master gazing at a candle unswervingly for a few seconds, minutes, whatever it is, then it will help to train the mind to focus on the Shastra. These are all preparatory devices. Pranayama, Trataka, all these things. So likewise, this whole thing is about sadhana. These verses that are going to come, this one and the next one, is about sadhana, how to handle this ego, how to get to the self. which self? The objective ahankara, not the subjective ahankara. How to transcend, to bypass the subjective ahankara. This is what is talked about in this verse. Next one also is going to be talked about. So the Drishtanta is very clear. So we have seen what all the steps the man takes. And what is so what is the woman doing? Crying because she has lost the head ornament. And so what is the diver doing? The diver is not crying. The diver is safely tethered, and then what? Um, Dives in, doesn't waste time, doesn't get distracted by the frogs or lilies growing. Sometimes lilies grow in the well, doesn't get distracted by anything. And some kind of weeds, lilies, alligators, whatever it may be there, he's not worried. He just immediately, what does he do? He just goes and retrieves that. Retrieves the Chudamani. Why? It is shiny. He knows where it is, and he just plucks it from the water with his hands, comes right back up. In fact, he has some helper to help him reel him back in. And sometimes the big wells in India and maybe in other places also, they have a narrow ladder on the side. So you can climb up, but nonetheless, he has a nice tight rope around his middle. And so this is a very nice metaphor to sit and unpack. So what is the Chudamani? The Chudamani is Atma, the shining Atma. And what has happened to the shining Atma? It is lost, as though, okay? If the Atma is lost, then we are done in. So it is, as it were, not there. Shining Atma, I can't access. Oh no, I thought I had it. I had a few good days. Everything was going swimmingly well. I thought I had really gained this knowledge. I said, oh, not bad. Not even 30 verses of Saddarshanam over. I think I'm enlightened. Yay, yippee. And then something happened. And then the Atma gone. Where did it go? Oh no, I have a vague idea. It has gone into the waters of depression. That is where the Atma is. It has gone in the waters of anger, depression, fear, sorrow, all these things. That is where the Atma is lost. That's why I'm able to tell exactly where it is lost. I'm able to tell. Okay, so that's how. And so then that's how this lady is able to tell. And then what happens? Then you find that the diver, so then the lady here is the sadhaka. The lady is the sadhaka, the diver is also the sadhaka. The diver is the sadhaka who is a kind of a grown up version of that lady who lost. Correct? Or you can say that the sadhaka, the diver could be the guru also. You can say the diver may be the guru, the diver goes in and brings it, but here it is better to take it as a matured version of the person who apparently lost the sense of self, lost this happy I, and the I that is free of complaints, the I that is not malingering and crying all the time. Where did it go? Oh, I think it is being digested in the acidic waters of jealousy, in the antahkarana. It is just getting completely what should I say? It is getting some completely corroded, eroded, and so then what? So then she has the option of just sitting and crying by the well, but then nothing happens. So she grows up. She is he, actually. She grows up and emotionally. And then ties a thread, not thread, what did I call it earlier? Rope around her middle, around her waist. Meaning what? She is connected to the Shastra. And whatever the Shastra has taught, she is connected to that. So the diving is Shastric diving. not some kind of a free fall and hitting the head and then not being able to come out and getting lost there and then getting fearful there. None of that. She is very clear about who she is and what she wants, and then so she wants to be with the Shastra. The thread is that which connects one to the teaching. The thread is that which connects one to the teacher, the guru. Thread is that which connects one to the parampara, the lineage. We talked a lot about that in the yesterday's class about the lineage. In the what class was that? What talk was that? Pramana, Pramana talk. So this is the connection to the rope in the center around the waist symbolizes the connection to Shastra, Guru, and the lineage. Why this connection is needed? Because this is what is showing the way how to dive, how to be safe, and how not to just swim around lost and not able to come out. This is what will help you come out in this search, in the so-called search. Atma is never lost. Atma is never away. Even if to say you are lost, Atma must be very much there to be able to express the fact that you feel that you are lost. Atma is very much there. And so this is the metaphor. And so then what does the diver do? Shitaya buddhya. What does it say? Nishita, shitaya, something like that. Something it says. Hold on. Yeah, shitaya, nitantam, shitaya buddhya. Nitantam means intensely sharp buddhi. Sharp buddhi means viveka. What is viveka? Discrimination. Nitya, nitya vastu viveka. The discrimination between what is permanent and what is temporary. And then Viveka has a twin. Who is that? Vairagya. And what is this Vairagya? The ability to let go of the impermanent now that we know what is permanent. And to focus on that permanence is called Viveka. The ability to let go of everything else that doesn't serve one is called Vairagya. So this is what it is. So the connection to the lineage gives this kind of a buddhi, gives this wonderful buddhi. And what is this buddhi? This buddhi is very much, sharpened by Shravanam, sharpened by all other kinds of practices and listening and one's own determination really to gain this knowledge. And a sharp buddhi is called Nishchayatmika buddhi, or to put it in a different way, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. This is all borrowed from the Gita. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayina. Eka buddhi iha kurunandana. Eka buddhi. Single-minded buddhi. What is this buddhi? The buddhi is the discrimination that no matter how much I do, I'm not going to know this Atma. There is a difference between knowing and doing. Doing is not going to yield the results because the Atma is never away from me. And so therefore I need to know the Atma. This is Vyavasayatmika buddhi or Nishchayatmika buddhi. If this is not there, then that also the Lord describes very beautifully. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitah vedavadaratav partha nanyadastiti vadinah kamatmanasvargaparaha janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishvarya gatim prati भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां Vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. A big treatise, the Lord says. If you don't have sharp intellect doesn't mean IQ, meaning it is totally focused on Atma Jnanam and eliminating the subjective ahankara. That is the focus. And if it is not there, then one becomes prey, not Prey, Prey here. One becomes prey to all kinds of sweet talkers. Pushpitam vacham, flowery talk. Come to me. You want moksha? I have it in the oven. It will be done very soon. You can have it. You just eat your way to moksha. That's what the Lord wants. This is what is called char vaka mata. Charu vak yasya. They just give you sweet talk and then they take you down the road of total destruction of any kind of spiritual whatever. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. ऋणं कृत्वा अपि घृतं पिबेत् भस्मीभूतस्य देहस्य पुनरागमनं कुतः वद as long as you are alive, live happily. Happily means what? Make sure you have ghee, butter with every meal. Oh, but that's expensive. Borrow. Prinam kritva api, even after having borrowed, make sure you have a very rich meal. Many, many courses every single day. No, but if I borrow, how will I pay it back? Don't worry, you just have one life. After that, what? The body is put on the funeral pyre. And once the body is put on the funeral pyre, who is going to come back? Nobody is going to come back. No dharma, no karma, no punarjanma, nothing. So this is one kind of a sweet talk kind of philosophy. Everybody secretly thinks, well, I don't see much wrong with that. Actually, it's quite compelling. you know but we know too much. We can't go back to this philosophy now, but many people are not not emerged from this kind of a what should I say, prakrita buddhi means like this kind of a survival basic nature, bestial nature. So some kind of a nature where you just grab, catch, kill, eat. This is what it is. This is what the beasts of prey do. And here is what one does. Not a very evolved mata, not a very evolved philosophy. Then of course the whole world is full of people who advertise, and then they go to all these places, and then they want followers, and then they that's what they do when they get together. How many, they say, meaning how many people on your Facebook, how many people on your Twitter. This is what they talk about to each other. And so this is what it is. It's all about maximizing philosopher followers, and so many kinds of things make the person dependent on them. See, the nice thing about studying choosing a Shrotriya, somebody who is from a sound lineage, is that it is not a cult of personality. The focus is not on the teacher, it is on the teaching. The teacher is just a microphone to amplify the teaching. And even if the teacher teaches well, and you say, oh, this is wonderful, the teacher is very clear, it's not him or her. It is the Guru, it is the lineage, it is Bhagavan. That is how it should be. It's not, otherwise what happens if this buddhi is not made tivra buddhi, and if this is not done, then one falls prey to all kinds of sycophants, self-styled god men, god women, and God knows who else. And then what else? And then one is just one whole life gone. The lineage is what keeps both the teacher and the student safe from these kinds of, distractions. Belonging to the lineage is very, very important. And so here, that is what the tie around the waist represents. Belonging to the lineage, a commitment to the Shastra, commitment to the teacher. Commitment to the teaching. Shastra means teaching. And then you go into the antahkarana. You are not alone, you are guided. So you don't come under the spell of these flowery talkers. And then Lord Krishna says the flowery talkers are only interested in two things: bhoga, enjoyment, aishwarya. What is aishwarya? Power, overlordship. That is what aishwarya is. Ishwarasya bhava aishwarya. So then they want to be Ishvara. And so they want a lot of power. Bhoga Ishwarya prasaktana. Taya apahrita chetasa. In fact, their antahkarana, their mind, heart, etc. is all abducted, apahrita, kidnapped by the desire for bhoga and aishwarya. Bhoga, conspicuous consumption, aishwarya, power. This is what they want. And so they are themselves confused, and they confused you. They confuse you also. Likewise, the Mundakopanishad also says the same thing. Munjadishikam iva drishya vargat pratyanchamatmanam avyayam. Munja is a kind of a grass. Munja. This is what was used. They used to weave the munja grass to do the sacred thread ceremony. Later on, it became thread. Before, it was the grass. So, the initiation, the Vedic initiation of young children was done using this munja grass. That's why the ceremony is called munji. This is why. And so then, so the munja is the name of the grass. Ishika is that little sharp blade. Munja is the whole grass. Ishika is the blade that comes when you peel that outer grass. So the Mundakopanishad also says, you please make your buddhi, make your buddhi sukshma, subtle, sharp, so that you can discern the Atma from anything that might be as though covering the eye, such as the covering for this blade of grass. Munja Mishika Diva. So, just like you separate for certain rituals, you have to separate that outer, you have to peel that blade of grass, and that Ishika is used for offering. So, just like when you separate, and you have to take care because that blade of grass is very vulnerable, soft, it's a small baby shoot, it must not get broken, otherwise, it cannot be used for the ritual. So, very carefully, you have to distinguish what is the covering and what is the ishika, what is the grass, the blade. And similarly, pratyancham atmanam. So similarly, the atma has to be discerned from anatma very, very carefully. That's why the buddhi has to be sharpened. Otherwise, the anatma comes in many, many ways and does a number, and then somehow hijacks the pursuit, hijacks the person, and this is what happens. And the buddhi is not available. And the Kathopanishad also says, Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhihi. To understand the Atma as myself, as free, as whole, as without a second, as totally, free of all afflictions. Then I have to cultivate a subtle intellect, and cultivating a subtle intellect doesn't mean doing Sudoku. That's not what we are talking about. And some other some new thing is there. What is that? Some 5-letter word people are solving, and so that all may be fun, and
Word.
you can do that. What is that called?
Hurdles. Wordle.
Wordle, yeah. So the wordle is okay as long as it doesn't become a hurdle. Okay, so this is what the thing is. So no problem. Do all that. But we are talking of a different kind of a sharpness, a different kind of a kind of a subtle sharpness. which the Upanishads, Kathopanishad talks about it, Mundaka Upanishad talks about it, Kena Upanishad talks about it. And what is this? This is not just an accident. Every Upanishad is talking about it, which means that there is something here. It is a sharpening of the intellect to be a connoisseur of everything Atma, and to not to not really have a taste for Anatma. It's like in Assam we have these tea tasters where the tea grows. And those people, oh my God, they are first 6 months. They don't even taste tea. They are made. They are full. They have to not eat so many things. They can't eat chilies. They cannot eat garam masala. They cannot eat. I think they just have some bland things all the time. Very boring. But then they are raised to taste the tea, because in one sip they have to swill it around in the mouth and then spit it out, because obviously you can't drink so many cups, so many like 100 sips a day, otherwise one will be jittery all the time. Or as though one is operating that machine that drills the road. So therefore what? So therefore you swill it and then you spit it out. And then just by that one or two swills in the mouth, you should be able to say whether it is the tippy tip of the first flush of the greenest leaves, Darjeeling, or whether it is the second grade or the third grade. Even in the first grade, there is so many. Is it white tea? First time I said, what is this white tea? Maybe they're just giving hot water and they're saying it is white tea. But actually, there is something. So silver tea, it is all these very, very expensive, and you just put 2, 3 needles and then you just wait till it slowly unfolds. Yeah, so if you want to drink tea like that, you have to have a lot of titiksha. Okay, yeah. And it's a far cry from the Indian tea, which is boiled 105 times and then it is consumed. Half of it is put in a saucer and given to the neighbor, and then the other half is consumed. No, 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 no. This is very, very civilized. And then you take a little sip and then you spit it out, and then you just swill it around in the mouth and then spit it out. And this is so the taster cannot have a taste for anything. No birthday cake, so sad. And no buns, no bread, no, nothing. Very few things they can eat. Bland things they can eat, because they have to cultivate the taste only to discern the tea, and then so that they are good at their job. So their training is very, very, very intensive. So here too, the person who is interested in knowing Brahman cultivates a taste only for Brahman by spitting out or anything that is not anatma, anything that is not Brahman. So this is what it is. This is the weeding out. More is going to be talked about that. But this is what it is. Slowly, and we can't force oneself. One cannot force oneself here, because if you force yourself to give up everything, and if you make a sankalpa, a very sad sankalpa in my view, if you make a sankalpa from tonight, I'm going to stop everything, then you know what will happen? The desires come back and beat you up with a vengeance. The more you want to give up, the more they want to catch a hold of you. So better to just focus on the teachings, and then you just let the anatma drop. And 6 months later, you say, I was really attached to this. I thought I couldn't live without this. Oh, I really wanted this. How is it that now I'm not even missing this? There is so much freedom. So you don't force anything. Let it drop. Give it the opportunity to drop. How will it drop? It will drop if you focus on something else. This is how the whole life is led. In the beginning, the baby is attached to the mother. Then at age 2, It is attached to the security blankie. It drags the blankie everywhere, and the mother has a hard time even to taking it from the child's hands to put it for wash. She has to wash the blanket when the child is asleep because it will not be parted from it for a minute. Then little older, it will be some truck, car, toy, doll, something, teddy bear. Then after that, it's something else, and something else, and something else as the child grows up. And then what? Then the child acquires a small, what is that? A smartphone. Smartphone it acquires. Child means within, that's the toy of the adult. Okay, and that's where I suppose it stops, because all you wait is for a new version of that smartphone. Why is it called smartphone? Because my smartness is transferred onto that, so that I don't have to remember anything. So this is what it is. So this is how one grows, by displacing the desire for something onto something else. So then one is an adept in this. So let us also do the final displacement. Displace, here it is a as though displacement. So displace everything onto Brahman, actually place the focus on Brahman, and then what do you get? You find that, uh, you know, rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. All the desires, they won't immediately drop, says the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. But with habit of just feeding Brahman to this ahankara. The ahankara is taken away, made to diet from the staple of self nurturance and all kinds of things, validation, seeking approval, self judgment, self loath, judging others, non appreciation, and discontent. This is its staple diet. It is fed with the Shastra, Mahavakya for breakfast, and Mahavakya for lunch, Sadhana for dinner. This is what it is fed every day. Then what? All the other things, all the terrible food that it was eating, it stops having a desire for it. This is how to change the course and make the buddhi sharp, meaning they discover the love for the I and channel it through to the teachings, not anywhere else. And so then the diving is easy. And so the diving is actually fun because you know what you're looking for. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, nischayatmika buddhi. So with this buddhi is my treasure. And that treasure leads me to unearth the head ornament in the form of the Atma, which was as though lost in the murky waters of Raga Dvesha, murky waters of desires, fears, tears, all kinds of things, where the Atma was as though lost. So I dive and bring it out, and then in this quest, certain things are there that will help to put to turn the ahankara inward and to put it on a diet of the Upanishads and the classes and the teaching. A few things will help. What will help? This is what is indicated in the third line, I think, or the second line. Let us look at the verse. Third line. Pranam cha vacham cha niyamya chinvan. Chinvan, looking, gathering, ching chayane, to gather, to collect. So here the modulation of the breath is an important sadhana. That's why when one is agitated, the breath goes up and down at a faster rate. If we look at that, if we have the chance to observe, it is called hyperventilation. And the person is asked to breathe into a paper bag. If you breathe into a paper bag, then there is some carbon dioxide, and that helps to calm down the breath for somebody having a panic attack. So here the cultivating a slow breathing is very important, because then the thoughts slow down, the agitation in the mind slows down, doubts slow down, despair slows down, sorrow also slows down, goes to sleep. And the mind, we find, is very well oxygenated. The brain and the body are very, very nicely oxygenated, and they are available for me. Very important. Because there is a connection between the mind and the breathing. So the pranayama of all kinds, very, very wonderful practice on the road to this, on the road to preparing the mind for this knowledge. Very nice preparatory things. Pranayama, asana, all these things. Dhyana, all of that. So then that is prana. Then vacham. Vacham means speech. Niyamya, regulating the speech. And this we find in every ashram we go. One or two brahmacharis will decide to keep maunam. And since it's very cumbersome to tell everybody, and or to mean sign language, they have a they hang a little plaque made of cardboard around their neck. I am in Maunam today. I am in Maunam. And this was my experience. I met somebody I knew when I visited one of the ashrams. And then I said, "Oh, you're in Maunam. Since when?" And the man said, "Since yesterday afternoon." So, breaking the Maunam immediately. Oh, so sorry. I don't know what happened. This happens. And so this maunam helps, it's a beginning stage. So we can approach vak tapas here. Vacham niyamya means the various kinds of vak tapas is indicated. So vak tapas means the first and the most, the grossest form. And this is not a judgment, but the gross means not terrible, but in the first stage, the most obvious form, obviously objectifiable form, the grossest form, is in the form of not speaking. This is not easy, but it is important. It is very important to cultivate, at least on the level of the organ of action, this tongue. The tongue slays, the tongue cuts, the tongue burns. It does lots of things. And once, srishtam banam, a arrow that is released, and words that have gone from the mouth, very difficult to take back. Impossible to take back. And so better to keep quiet, even at the level, even at the risk of coming across as weak, quote unquote. Doesn't matter. Better to keep quiet. Actually, now with all this, the planetary influx of so many things, all these changes, etc., but literally better to keep quiet. Let them say. And they will also stop talking if you don't answer back. Most of the time people talk to just kind of get a response. And if you don't respond, then they'll also become calm. It's a social service to not talk in agitated situations, either in the home or in the office, anywhere. Or you can just say, right now you look, see, right now I think we are angry. Let us discuss this later when we calm down. You can just say that and let it be. So Vak Tapas is not talking at all. So this is at the first level of, what is called vakta, niyamya. So this vacham niyamya means this is the niyama. So the first one is to refrain from answering, refrain from speaking, especially when one is agitated, angry, reactive. This goes a long way. And then the more subtle practice of this vak tapas is at the level of sense organs. So the sense organs keep on reporting. Ah, I see this, I hear this, I smell this, and I taste this. And then what does the mind say? I want this. So there's obviously a connection between the sense organs and this. So then this is kind of an inner silence when that one is not giving voice to whatever the sense organs are doing. One is not following the sense organs all the time. I see, I hear, I touch, I taste, I pick up the smell. You don't keep doing that. Indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratisthita. That person's knowledge is said to be ascertained. Lord Krishna says in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Indriyani indriyarthebhyah. The sense organs are there. And they are just there for their own sake. They are not doing anything. They are not reporting. They are not commenting. They are not all the time engaged. They are quiet. They are not always connecting to the sense objects, commenting on the sense objects, and reporting on the sense objects. They are silently disconnected from the objects of the senses. Indriyani indriyarthebhyah. For such a person who has managed to do this disconnection, tasya prajna pratisthita, that person's knowledge is said to be established. That person is said to be abiding in that knowledge. And then, so this is the second level of vak tapas. Oh, you mean this is one more level? Yes, this is a little more subtle to cut the connection between the sense organs and the sense objects and allow the sense objects to go to sleep. Figuratively, of course. And then what? Then the final level the final component of vak tapas is quietening the mind. Having a say over the thoughts. Because otherwise you don't think thoughts. They think you. You don't think thoughts at all. How do you know? Because if I ask a question, what is going to be your next thought? Well, you are not able to tell me. That shows that you don't know the mind is going to, which thought the mind is going to be possessed by. That is why dhyana is an important sadhana, very important sadhana, because in the dhyana, in the meditation situation, we tell the mind what to think. Oh mind, mind you, you need to only think. You need to think Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, yeah, got that, the mind says, because the mind is backed by the ahankara. Got that. I know how to say that. Okay, next, Om Namah Shivaya. What? Yeah, after that, then also the third thought is Om Namah Shivaya. Now, what's the fourth thought? Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, this is getting very boring, the mind says. But you have to train the mind to just think what you want it to do. And as soon as you sit for meditation, you get hungry. As soon as you sit for meditation, you suddenly want to drink water. As soon as you sit for meditation, you have a doubt, did I turn off the stove? As soon as you sit for meditation, you feel like calling somebody. This is also childish. This is all child cheshta. Cheshta means like a naughty child. As soon, go to school. Mummy, I have a ache in my tummy. The child says, no ache, nothing. But up till then, it'll be playing outside. But as soon as you say, okay, the school bus is here, let's go. No, I think I'm sick. I'm not well. Similarly with the mind. There is a weak mumuksha, a weak desire to study, and that has to be made into a conflagration. And the two go side by side. The mind has to be strengthened. Just like we talk about strengthening the vowels in Sanskrit through guna and vriddhi, the operations called guna and vriddhi. Similarly, the mind has to be strengthened. Strengthened so that it doesn't hijack your thoughts. So that you are in charge of the thought. So the ahankara goes and sulks in a corner. That is exactly what we want. Because the control of the mind, the regulation of the mind has passed on to the objective component of the ahankara. So the subjective component goes to the corner and sucks its thumb and sulks. Sucks its thumb for comfort. It's trying to soothe itself. And it sits and sulks in a corner. Oh, but I just wanted to have this mind for myself, and now you are taking it. Doesn't matter. It will also try to distract. I think you need water. I think you need food. I think you need to call somebody. I think you need to suddenly go somewhere. All these things, it will create scenarios. But you stay strong. And what is your next thought? Now you can say, yeah, I know my next thought. It's Om Namah Shivaya. What is the thought after that? Om Namah Shivaya. What is the thought after that, after that, after that, after that? Om Namah Shivaya for however long you have decided to sit. It could be a minute, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be, 100 minutes, doesn't matter. Your sankalpa comes out strong. Your intention comes out strong. And you train the mind to think what you tell it to think. And then with practice, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So with practice, with effort, what happens? The mind is caught, regulated, managed. I never use the word control. Okay, the mind is managed, just like you manage anger. So the mind is managed through this repeated practice. Otherwise, if it's always, there is some inner chatter, and the inner chatter is so useless. Somebody asked me, do you know how to read the mind? I said, I don't want to read the mind. Why would I not want to know people's thoughts? So boring they will be. Did I, should I do this or should I do that? Should I go here or should I go there? And how boring. Even they cannot stand their own thoughts. Why should I subject myself to their thoughts? I said, no, thank you. I don't have any desire to read anybody's mind. If we mind our own mind, that is itself the greatest blessing. That is the most wonderful blessing over here. We don't need anything else at all. Nothing we need. And so, therefore, this is very beautiful. So, here, this is the third level of Vak Tapas. But we are not talking of Vak, we are talking of Manaha. Doesn't matter, because what is in the mind comes out through the mouth. What you think you say. Unfortunately, what one thinks one says. And so, therefore, we were talking about Rahu, Ketu. They are all in charge of speech. And they want you to speak more. They want you to say things that you shouldn't be saying. Because they're part of the shadow self, the mischievous shadow self, the naughty self. And so they are perma children. They are permanently children and they want you to fall into trouble. And so next time you want to say something when it's not the right occasion, not the right time, you say, tell yourself, no, Rahu, no. Oh, okay. No, Ketu, no, not this time. This time you're not going to get me. And then Ketu says, you know my name? Yeah, I know your name. I know what you're up to too. It's nice to depersonalize. Otherwise, one gets very guilty and angry with oneself, and one has to deal with all that. But if you say Rahu Ketu, it's like, oh, it's them over there. It's not me. It's not me. I'm the one trying to meditate. I'm the one who is having a Om Namah Shivaya moment. It's those others who are coming in the picture and distracting me. This is very helpful to depersonalize. In fact, when the child in the tradition is initiated into the study of the Veda, the certain mantras are asked to be said. So the child repeats, the mantra which the priest says. And, Naham karta, I am not the doer. Kamaha akarshit, Kama made me do it, Kama did it. Manyuhu akarshit, anger did it, desire did it. I am not the karta. Anger is the karta. Desire is the karta. After all, the desire has melded into the I, but the child is made to delineate. Anger is the karta. Desire is the karta. Karta means the agent of whatever was done here. It's very beautiful. And every year this is renewed. This kind of an insight is renewed and chanted every year. This is so profound. It's just very, very amazing. And so here too, this Vak Tapas is very spans a number. It grows from the gross to the subtle. So the grossest is regulation of the speech itself. Silence, choosing silence. And then that the next level is cutting the connection between the sense organs and the sense objects. So the sense organs are not constantly triggered and worn out trying to, like overkill, trying to pursue sense objects. And then the final and the most subtle level is to train the mind to be more or less, available to you. So you have the volition. It is available to you. You have the volition, the will to plan, to tell it what to do, to pursue certain things. And so you're not constantly struggling with it. So all this is included in this small 4-line verse. Pranam chavacham cha niyamya chinvan. Chinvan, the collecting person, the person who is collecting the jewel of the self. Vindet. May one search. Search for what? Nijahankriti moola roopam. That is the jewel. Nijahankriti. The real I. Nijahankriti. The Satchidananda. That is the I. That is apparently lost. One has gone away from, so to speak. Nijahankriti. Nijahankritehe. Moola Roopam Vindet. Moola Roopam, what is the truth of that? Brahman, Ishvara. And so that is the jewel. I as Ishvara is the jewel. Really, really beautiful. A very nice verse. A fantastic verse. Next one. मौनेन मज्जन्मनसा स्वमूल चर्चैव सत्यात्मविचारणं स्यात् एषोऽहमेतन्न मम स्वरूपम् इति प्रमासत्यविचारणाङ्गम् मौनेन मज्जन्मनसा स्वमूल चर्चैव सत्यात्मविचारणं स्यात् एषोऽहमेतन्न मम स्वरूपम् इति प्रमासत्यविचारणाङ्गम् मौनेन. Through this silence. And what kind of silence? On all the levels that we have seen. All those levels. Through this silence, Majjan, being immersed in what? In one's own glory. Manasa, mentally being immersed in the revelry of one's own glory. Swamula charcha. Swamula charcha means the talk of the truth of oneself is what? Satyatma Vicharanam. That is what is Swamula Charcha. Swamula Charcha is the understanding, the mental talk here is the reliving, the revelry of one's own truth as Satchidananda Atma, as Ishvara. Swamula Charcha Satyatma Vicharanam Syat. It's the self-enquiry and the resulting understanding that I am Satchidatma. This is what it is. Swamula Charcha is nothing but Atma Vicharanam. And then Eshaha Aham. This I am. Etanna Mama. This is not mine. These emotions are not mine. They are just a interpolation. This ahankara is not mine like that. Swarupam, this is my nature, this discernment. Iti prama, this kind of a wisdom. Satya vicharanangam. It is an anga of the self-enquiry. So obviously this verse is also about sadhana, and more in detail we will see this tomorrow. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Thank you.